And good morning here on Friday Take. I'm Devin Albertson, joined by Luke Sanders. As of course, here on every show that we start out with, we're going to talk about some Bearcat athletics. Of course, everybody knows the game from last night was postponed due to weather to Monday, so we'll have games Saturday at 1:30 and 3:30 against Southwest Baptist, and then Monday versus Central Missouri, also at 1:30 and 3:30. We should have those games for you here next 106. As of course, tomorrow, Southwest Baptist come to town for the girls. The women's team is a big game. Both teams are winless in conference. It should be a fun one between Northwest and Southwest Baptist, the two Bearcats of the conference. And, of course, for Southwest Baptist, a girl used to play in this area, went to my high school, Megan Rosenbaum. She'll be coming back to Maryville to play. So that's going to be probably a pretty good crowd there for the game versus Southwest Baptist. Kind of weird thing you're going to see with two teams who are winless in conference, going to have a pretty good crowd and probably a pretty good environment with her coming back and Northwest trying to get their first conference win.
Yeah, I think that if I'm correct, there's 3 winless teams in the conference and there's one with 1 win. And if we beat
Lincoln has also winless, so yeah.
Oh, there's 4?
It's Northwest, Lincoln, and Southwest.
Okay, yeah. If we beat Southwest, somehow we have the tiebreaker with somebody. If, like, Mo West loses or something. So, like, it's kind of a big win because if you get this, like, you're in the conference tournament hunt, which seems weird, but it's true.
Yeah, the girls have really struggled early in this year, whether it's defensively or just trying to get a consistent offense going right now. And right now, yes, Northwest, Southwest Baptist, and Lincoln all with 0 conference wins. And Lindenwood's also at 2-5 within reaching distance of the next spot. And everybody else has at least 3 conference wins. And of course, tough game on Monday. Central Missouri coming in, they're 5-0 in conference right now. So, tough straight game there Monday versus Central Missouri. So yeah, I'm excited for the game tomorrow. I'm calling it with Rosenbaum coming back to town. Should be a fun game there for the girls. And then if you look at the boys, of course, over break they did lose to Missouri Southern. I think the last 47 games they're 45-2, 45-0 in all games not played in Joplin. So. Northwest needs to make a petition never to play there again. But Northwest right now 5-1 in conference, 13-1 overall, sitting second behind Washburn. Southwest Baptist coming in, they're 3-2 in conference, 9-5 overall in their men's. In Central Missouri on Monday, 12-2 overall, 4-1 in conference play. That one loss was at home to Northwest. So UCM also a really solid team. Baptist hasn't given Northwest troubles in the past, but you never know with them coming to town tomorrow. So. That's kind of what we have there. Other Northwest news, Mel Churchman was inducted to another Hall of Fame this past week. It was announced by ESPN. They also misspelled Northwest Missouri State. That was great. Good job, ESPN. And Colin Bevins got signed to the Cleveland Browns to a reserve future contract. So congratulations to him. Can't make the team any worse. I mean, they're 0-16, but NFL contract's still important there for Bevins. So. Everyone's pretty excited for Colin on that one.
Yeah, their pass rushers aren't, like, great either.
Yeah,
outside of Miles Garrett.
Miles Garrett's about it. It's the only person I can really name, even on the defense.
Yeah, so, I mean, I think he'll legitimately have a chance to, like, see the field some there, too.
Exactly. And, of course, Matt Longinger for the Rams had a pretty good year before he got hurt at the end of the season. So he finished the year with 9 sacks or somewhere in that neighborhood. So he had a nice season there out in L.A., so... couple of Bearcats. I know one of the Dixon twins stuck with the Colts all season, so he was able to stay in the secondary most of the season. I'm not sure with the other Dixon twin, but plenty of Bearcats there in the pros playing well. So good to see that for Northwest. A couple guys up there and competing. I'm not sure if there's anything else going on in Bearcat athletics for this next weekend. Just a lot of basketball, which should be fun with everything going on. Also, track at the Graduate Classic all day today and tomorrow. So good luck to the track team as they travel there. And, of course, that's over in Lincoln, Nebraska. So they go up to Cornhusker country.
Yep, which unfortunately means they have to go north, which keeps
not great
colder.
This time of year.
It's so cold.
Yep, so, of course, they had games at home on Monday. The basketball teams do. The next Thursday they go on the road up to Nebraska Kearney. So they're going north next Thursday. So, and then over to Hayes, Kansas on Saturday, which is...
I don't care if that's technically south, it still works.
Well, at least they're going from Kearney to Hayes and not Maryville to Hayes. But you got to go from Hayes to Maryville, and that's just not fun either.
No, that's a terrible drive.
So that's going on. Those games are both going to be on the road next week, so if you want to follow, get some updates, follow at X106_sports, and we'll get you all your updates that you'll need for those games. So, yeah, we'll get into the thick of things here with seasons about halfway through. The women had a little bit of a rough stretch there over Christmas break, a couple of tough non-con losses to Quincy and McKendree. I'll follow the conference losses to Southern and Pitt State, which everyone kind of saw the Pitt State game. Pitt State's really pretty good, and Southern's decent usually. So it's a tough stretch for the girls right now. See if they can pull through, sneak a couple conference wins in here down the stretch. See if they can't sneak into the tournament and build on that.
Yeah, they've kind of started with the strength of the conference too, which hasn't helped them. But
yeah, you can play number 1 UCO. Missouri Western's always pretty good. Central Missouri. I mean, it's pretty tough to start with that and get any confidence built up. So. We'll see what the girls do. They are really young, so that's one thing. You got a lot of growing pains, especially defensively, trying to get that intensity ramped up where it needs to be. So hopefully they can get a win here on Saturday versus Southwest Baptist and get on that back in the win column for the first time in a while. So that's what they have coming up for the women, and then of course the men. I'm sure Pitt's passed a couple milestones since we talked last, but I can't remember them all. So I think he passed over 2,200 points or something like that and over 500 assists. So no biggie for his career.
That's a few.
Just a few. Of course, they played Simpson College as well as they played Lincoln Memorial since we last talked, and they crushed the number 4 team in the nation at the time. So they were dominant in that game. They played Simpson, beat them. Then, of course, they went down to Joplin and lost by 6 to Missouri Southern, who shot out of their mind in the second half, like 58% from 3. So, tough loss there for Northwest down in Joplin. And then they went and played Pitt State. They were down by 1 at halftime. They ended up winning by 26. So, they came out with vengeance there in the second half versus the Gorillas and Coach Kim Anderson, who will turn Pitt State around here eventually, as he did with UCM before he went to Missouri. So, of course, Northwest, Southwest Baptist, and UCM for the men's team coming up next. So it should be fun there. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll come back. We'll talk about last Saturday's football game in Arrowhead and how sad everybody is in this area.
Did you make me talk about that?
Yes, we're going to talk about that. I'm sure we have plenty of discussion to have. So we'll be back momentarily here on Friday Take. And welcome back into Friday Take here on January 12th. It's our first show of 2018. I'm Devin Albertson with Luke Sanders here on Friday Take on X106. Should be a fun show, except for this next topic here with the Chiefs losing their another home playoff game, 6 straight now in franchise history. This last one to the Titans when they owned a 21-3 lead at halftime over a pretty average Titans team and just couldn't hold on. For the win in the second half. Lost 22-21. I was at the game, so I was able to feel all of the sadness of Arrowhead.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I was there, so we all felt the sadness all at once. It was great. It was so bad.
Oh, man, that's rough.
Yeah, it wasn't the best, but I don't even know if I want to talk about the game, really, because it's so sad, and there's a lot of things went wrong there in that second half.
Oh, yeah. Everyone did something bad.
Yes. The offense couldn't get a first down they needed to. They desperately needed to. Defense couldn't get off the field to save their lives. Just nothing really worked. Couldn't make a field goal. Couple of tough breaks. The one before halftime, I will forever remember forward progress. And from now on, when the quarterback hits in the pocket and fumbles immediately, I'm going to tweet out Skip Bayless style full caps forward progress. Every time from now on. That was just so frustrating. Be in the stands and be like, why are they not reviewing it? Why are they not reviewing it? It's pretty obvious. It's a fumble. Then going to Twitter and saying they ruled forward progress because they didn't announce it in the stadium.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh. And I told people in my segment, they're like, how? Like, I don't know either. And they're trying to reason with other drunks. Not the easiest thing to do when they're angry. So, yeah, that one was frustrating. There was so many. Mariota catching a touchdown pass from himself was very luck fumbling and scooping him some scoring.
As soon as that happened, I knew we were losing that game.
Like, there's just so many things. You just felt it turning in the stadium. Like, why?
Yes.
Why does this happen? Chiefs couldn't stop Derrick Henry to save their lives. 23 carries for 156 yards and a touchdown. Pretty much anytime he wanted to get 8 yards, he easily could. And so it really hurt when Chris Jones went down there in the second half, because then that record you have in the defensive line is not there anymore. They just ran away from Justin Houston and at Frank Zombo and others because, well, duh. And then we never adjusted because kind of what defense does. And also Bob Sutton's been a week, and he still hasn't been fired or retired or let go, or he's still on the team.
I mean, I imagine that they won't fire him till like after the draft process and everything.
I wanted him gone Sunday morning. Actually, we wanted him gone about 2 months ago, but that's beside the point.
I actually wanted him gone like about 2 years ago. So.
That's fair. That's fair. Chiefs defense. They did miss Eric Berry this year, so you got to keep that in mind. And I know I listened to 610 Sports a little bit this past week, and they tried to defend him that way, but I'm still like, okay, yes, you lost Eric Berry. That's a tough loss, but you also can't run the same defense after losing Eric Berry and putting Daniel Sorensen in his role and saying this will be fine. And then never adjusting.
The same defense literally every play. You don't change your play, Bob. I hate you. Cover one Robert every single play. 3rd
and 5 every time, drop Justin Houston into coverage.
Doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't. So yeah, it's frustrating with Bob Sutton there on the defense. Can't stop the run. Can't stop anybody on 3rd down. Not a great recipe for success there on that. Look at the offensive end. Once Kelsey went out, they did have that one drive in the first half that ended in a touchdown when they featured Robinson. So that was weird. But I was in the stadium, like, we're just targeting Robinson the whole time, but it worked because they weren't covering him. But yeah, Kelsey early on, Tennessee was dumb. You could say they put a linebacker on him one-on-one coverage, and it's like, well, Kelsey's going to be open here because you're dumb. Because we heard all week how Tennessee was going to put their all-pro safety on him and shut him down, and they didn't even try to do that. And Kelsey burned him early because, well, of course, Kelsey's better than a tight end, than a linebacker. And then once he went out with his concussion, that really hurts because your tight end now is Demetrius Harris, and that's not great. And Orson Charles.
Yep. Once Kelsey went out, I knew we would never throw the ball again through the air. We wouldn't move it because I knew they'd double team Tyreek,
which is smart.
And if Alex Smith's first read isn't open, yeah, you see what happens.
There was also a lot of drops in the game, which was not great.
Yeah, most of those were in the first half though. There was only one.
There was a couple in the second half. They're in the last drive. Tyreek had one over the middle. Okay. Would have been about an 8-yard game, but it still gets something moving. And then Orson Charles, they're on that 3rd and 4.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Oh, I was so mad.
And it was the right read.
No, it wasn't the bad read.
No.
The only thing that I would remotely blame Alex Smith for on that play is why are you throwing to Orson Charles?
He was open.
But more than that, I blame Andy Reid. Why is Orson Charles the one running the best route on the field? Like, that was obviously the key route.
And I follow this guy who has all the all-22, and he reviews it. And you can see on that play, if Alex would have waited a half second and waited for the route to develop, Tyreek was open on the backside. But his first read was, I don't know why Orson Charles was your first read on the play, but that's what they designed for it.
Okay, well, let's be honest. Alex Smith isn't getting to that second read, so that doesn't matter.
And he was open, but Orson Charles,
it was the right throw. I'm not blaming that. But why is Orson Charles there? Why is it?
Why would I have him than Harris at this point? But that's not saying a whole lot there.
I mean, Harris had a really, really good catch.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
And it's a 3rd down. Demetrius Harris has that.
I know. I was just like, you see a slant on 3rd and 4, and it's right there. You
got to throw that.
Yeah, you just got to make the catch.
Why is Orson Charles in there?
I
don't know.
They like Orson.
String tight end. Put DeMarcus Robinson there. It's a slant.
Yeah, I know. Well, no one saw it coming. That's why he was open.
He was open because they're like, hey, I dare you to throw this guy the ball. And he's like, and it wasn't a great throw either, but.
It wasn't great, but it was
catchable.
Definitely catchable. Definitely played the need to be made.
But when you're throwing to your 3rd string tight end, you got to put it on his numbers because he can't catch, obviously. That was so frustrating.
Yeah.
I was so mad when we threw to Orson Charles on the biggest play of the game, probably.
I was more mad that he didn't catch it because it was routine catch.
To me, it's like the Philip Gaines thing. Why is he in there? He's bad.
That's fair. There was a lot of coaching decisions that were questionable there, and I think you get that first down, you give Hunt a couple more carries, hopefully. And my thing with Hunt, with the carries he had, even some of the carries that he did have in the second half, they were going laterally for some reason. Like, they wanted to get him side to side instead of just downhill.
No.
Whenever they ran the run pass option with him, and he just went downhill and attacked the defense, he was able to at least fall forward for a couple yards. So there's just certain things in that game.
There is one thing that Alex Smith's really good at, and is running the read option. I don't understand why we don't do that more.
I don't know either. And there is a big discussion. I can't say who's actually calling the plays. I know Andy, of course, after the game said he called the good ones, Nagy, and Reed called the bad ones, and then Nagy said he called all the plays in the second half. I don't know. I have a feeling with the plays that we were seeing that Reed was calling the plays because that was more of his MO for play calling, but I don't know. It's hard to tell.
Yeah,
and they only ran 11 plays with the lead. Like, they didn't have the ball there. I mean, the Titans came out with an 8-minute drive to start the second half. That was frustrating. So just so many things went wrong in the second half for the Chiefs. Also, odds came out from Bovado for where Alex Smith's going to be next year. I tweeted this out yesterday. Chiefs are still the favorite because he's on right now 8-5 to come back to Kansas City.
Better not.
I don't think he does. Like I'm an Alex Smith supporter, but there's no way you can keep him with his salary with Mahomes behind him and what Chiefs need on defense and keep him.
I love him as a guy. He's a great guy. I like him as like a team person, but I do not want to watch Alex Smith play one more game as the Chiefs quarterback. I will freak out. I will probably not watch a game next year if he's back.
I won't go that much. I just don't see him back next year due to many reasons in Mahomes. I put that in my tweet. I just don't see it. You could save $20 million. That could really help the defense out, and you could just move Mahomes in the starting lineup, and it just makes more sense.
If that game did not prove to you that Alex Smith is not the answer at quarterback, I do not know what will.
I'm not going that far.
Once again, he's not the problem, but he's not the solution. He cannot make plays to win a game.
I mean, he made plays. The receivers dropped balls. But
he made one play to Orson Charles, and he made one play to Tyreek Hill, those 8-yard pass.
Made a play early in the game. The first throw of the game on the sideline of Hill, and he dropped a 30-yard pass, too.
Didn't we still score?
Not on the first drive.
Oh.
First drive, we moved the ball. We got a first down, and we had to punt. Then they punted, and we scored.
Well, point is, it was ugly.
It was.
I cannot watch another year of Alex Smith. I can't do it.
See, I'm an Alex Smith supporter, but I don't see him coming back to Kansas City next year. There's no possible way. And the Chiefs need draft picks. They have like 4 for next year's draft. They need draft picks.
His stock is as high as it will ever be.
Yes, and I think there's enough teams. Like right now, the top 5 teams right now are the Cardinals, Bills, Jags, and then Browns, Broncos. They're tied for 5th for odds to get.
They already said they won't trade him in the division.
Yeah, I don't think it goes to Broncos. I don't think there's no way they trade him to Denver. They'd rather see Denver wait around with Paxton Lynch than give him Smith, who's at least competent. The Jets also are in discussion. Giants, Redskins. Redskins, of course, if Kirk Cousins signs elsewhere. But if you look at the Bills, they have 2 first and 2 second-round picks they could trade with. Jacksonville, of course.
I don't think we're going to get a first. I just don't think that's real.
Well, if you have enough teams bidding against each other, you might be able to raise the price up.
Oh, that's true, but I don't see it. He's not young.
I can hope, okay?
And 2, surely teams watch film, so.
Yes, but I'm sure the Jaguars and Bills watched their own film and saw Tyrod Taylor and Blake Bortles in the playoff game and said, Alex can't be worse than this.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
So, and really for Jacksonville, who could they take with their late first-round pick that would help them more than what Alex Smith would this year? So you got to look back and forth with those things.
What if they win this week?
There's no way you keep Blake Bortles. He threw for 87 yards last week.
What if he did win a playoff game. Surely, yes, he was terrible. He did run for 89 yards. Like, he kind of did other things.
Yeah, he did. He did do other things.
Don't get me wrong.
He's not good.
He is terrible at playing the position of quarterback. Do not exaggerate what I'm saying. But, if you go to the AFC Championship game with him, if you lose this week, then it's not a conversation that you have to have. You won a playoff game solely on defense.
Even if it makes the AFC Championship game, would you rather have Blake Bortles at $19 million or Alex Smith at $20 million?
Are they going to be able to get rid of Bortles, though? Can they cut him?
They can cut him for nothing, yes. But if they bring Bortles back, that's $19 million.
Okay.
That's a lot for Blake Bortles.
Yeah, I'd for sure go for Alex Smith.
And then if you do get Alex Smith, if you trade for him, you can restructure his contract for 3 years, 45, and spread the money out, and he'll be happy because he's a longer contract, and he still gets paid right away. So there's ways to work around stuff. There's no way the Chiefs are getting that deal, so it's like you got to work back and forth. The Cardinals also an opportunity, but you also got to figure out who their coach is going to be before they do anything, really. So, if they hire Pat Shurmur, I think they're going to go get Bradford because that's his guy. So, it's hard to tell.
I don't know why you would go get Sam Bradford.
Because he trusts him. I don't know.
He's just a
little brittle.
but he's brittle. Can't stay healthy.
So, yeah, you got Alex Smith, of course. And, of course, Chiefs will get Eric Berry back next year. Kelsey back healthy. Jones will be back healthy. So, I don't think Tom will be back with the team next year. They'll save about $8 million by cutting him.
Cut him.
Or he'll retire. Either way, he's definitely not the long term because he only played in like 5 games this year. Yeah, they can save a little over $8 million because he'll have a dead cap about 1.7, but if they keep him, it's like 9.4. So definitely worth a cut there. Derek Johnson, he's a $10 million cap hit next year.
I think he'll retire.
I
love Derek Johnson, but he is just definitely showing he's lost a step.
And if he wants to play next year, he's got to get a restructured deal.
Yeah.
So if he wants to play some spot minutes and help the linebackers now move forward,
I think they should
that's
literally
great.
just hire him as a assistant linebacking coach right now.
I'd be okay
smarter
with that.
than can be. Like,
yeah. Yeah, and of course you also have D Ford. If he can't play, like there's no way, you can cut him and save $8.7 million right now. No dead cap.
I think they'll cut him no matter what.
So if they do Ford, get rid of Smith, $20 million, Johnson and Hawley, it's $41 million in cap space that is created. So that's a lot of money. You can work with your defense.
The thing is, I don't think the defense needs as much work as you think it does.
The scheme will help.
Well, no, that and Barry coming back really does create so many more options for us to do things.
That's true.
And if Marcus Peters plays his own, first of all, he pretty much plays his own right now when we're playing man.
You see, he's really good at that. Like his pick was not his guy at all. He came off his dude and like, hey, I'm picking this ball off.
Except for if I'm another team and you watch film, I do not understand how everybody does not just run like an out route underneath, pump fake it, and then throw
over
it
the top.
fly. Like almost every
That's too
because there's no
simple.
one over the top.
No.
There's no one there.
No, and Peters is gonna bite in that route because he wants the pick
every time. I'm like tutties
for days. So yeah, I'm not sure what second corner's out in free agency for next year, but they got to be better than what we have right now.
Yeah, we do need a corner
Because Revis didn't come back next year. Then you also
I really did like.
he played well, but he was no help late in that
I wasn't
game.
talking about Revis. Nelson on the outside.
I don't mind Nelson as a slot corner.
Not Nelson. Who am I thinking of?
Acker?
No, the guy that Mitchell.
Oh, Mitch. Yeah, he didn't play a whole lot
He
late.
stopped playing the outside corner, and I don't know why.
I don't know. We really have Philip Gaines out there
Well,
until he got hurt.
I mean, Terrence Mitchell on the inside was not good, but on the outside was really good, and I don't understand why he
They
kept
put Nelson outside, Mitchell inside. If you would have switched those two, I think they would have been better.
I
But
don't get it.
it's Bob, Mr. Sutton.
And the thing is that it drives me crazy because in my mind, I think he has to know defense better than me. I am sitting here on my couch yelling at him, and he has a defensive coordinator job. Like, he has to know football better than I do.
He's well respected in the league, too.
But
like,
at the same time, I'm watching it. I'm like, no, you're stupid. Stop it. You can't just run man every play.
yeah, it's really frustrating when all that
Because,
happens.
when your scheme is to run man every play, people usually run the ball better because you're watching a guy and not the ball.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, our corners don't tackle. That's a big issue too. So when Eric Berry's out, you literally have 4 people on the field that cannot tackle.
It's not. If Peters puts his mind to it, he can. Like, we saw that late in that game where he came off the blitz and took down Henry.
One time.
He can show he didn't want to because he'd rather chip the ball out, which, you know what? You're a corner. I don't expect a whole lot for you fundamentally tackling for Peters. But
Dirty Dan can't tackle.
no,
Murray
he's not good.
Can't tackle.
Or cover.
Or cover. Or do
I mean, you got beat
anything.
by Eric Decker on a simple post route.
Yeah, I mean, Eric Decker's pretty slow and old, so I don't get it.
Savvy.
Yeah, something like that.
Murray's just bad. And then, of course, you have Acker, Nelson. Actually, what? Philip Gaines was a pretty good tackler. He couldn't cover anybody, but he could tackle him after they caught him.
Yeah. He had so much practice.
And he's probably the best run support corner we have, which isn't really anything when you can't cover anybody, but good job, Philip. So, yeah, definitely some things to work out there.
I think we definitely need to reassess our second O-line group.
Some depth
Some
there.
of our guys are solid. I think that if you could find a great guy in free agency that you could, like, keeping one of our current guys as a second string, they'd be great second string.
Like, Fulton's a really good swing guard center guy.
Yeah.
And if Morris got healthy, that would help a lot because then Brian Winsman's not in the game.
Yeah,
and he
that's
hurt
what I'm
a
saying.
lot.
I just think we need a couple backups that are.
And really, Fisher didn't play bad. Swartz has played okay last. Swartz is really good, and then Fisher's an average left tackle at this point, so he's gonna make mistakes. But he's usually decently solid.
He's actually really good. He just has a tendency to hold.
Yeah,
a lot.
He has those one plays that kind of stick out in your mind, like why would you do that? But the rest of the time, like for the other 50 plays, he's fine.
I think he's rated like top 10 in Pro Football Focus, actually, which is crazy.
He just had he was so bad early. Everybody has that in their mind still.
But he's an idiot. That's what I don't like about him. He always it seems like in the biggest moment he makes his biggest mistake.
Yeah. So if he just cleans that up a little bit, and so like he's definitely not number one tackle that you would take at your draft, but that draft was also really weak. So you got a solid left tackle.
Bad years stink.
Well, that's what the Chiefs do. Always screwed up somehow. I mean, 6 straight playoff losses at home. Sadness ensues. I was ready to be happy after that game, especially at halftime. And I was saying, no, the lead is too big. I was right. I hate being right.
The only reason that game will have any positive thing in my brain is that if Alex Smith will be gone. And if he's not...
I think he's going to be gone either way, but okay.
If we went to the AFC Championship game, he was not going to be gone. He would have been back.
If you went to the AFC Championship game and someone offered you a first-round pick,
he would have been back next year.
I don't think so.
Andy Reid is so...
I know Reid loves him, but Reid also loves Mahomes. I think this was the plan. I think unless Smith won a Super Bowl, he wasn't coming back.
Oh. If we would have made the Super Bowl, for sure he's back. I think if we make the AFC Championship game, he's back.
His trade value would have been so high if he had made a Super Bowl.
I don't think his trade value would go up much more from what it is now.
If he would have played well and won at New England.
I mean, like, if he throws for 300 yards at New England and at Pittsburgh. But let's be honest, that probably wasn't going to be how we won against Pittsburgh. Maybe against New England.
Yeah, so. So, yeah. I don't think the Chiefs have fired Bob Sutton yet, but they did promote Bieniemy, the running backs coach, to offensive coordinator. So maybe you can get Andy's read. Once they're like, hey, Kareem Hunt.
Yeah, now we're going to throw the ball run the ball 4 times, and then we're going to be like,
Patrick,
you're the running back coach. Hand the ball.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Except for...
I think Reed's going to call plays, so...
We're probably going to be like, hey, stop running the ball so much. Let Mahomes throw it.
Yeah, that'd be the new thing, but I doubt it with Reid calling plays.
I wouldn't even be mad if that's what people were complaining about. I'd be like, yes, Kareem Hunt, very good. Let him touch the ball.
Kareem Hunt, nice, yeah. So next year should be a fun offense next year with Kelsey, Hill, Hunt. I like what Robinson's doing on the outside. I like what he's doing as a second receiver.
I think he's a solid
second or third.
Yeah, but I do think that if we have that much cap room, we should go after a receiver.
And then, of course, you have Mahomes there at quarterback. Albert Wilson is a free agent, but he might be able to come back, so it's interesting to see what to do with him.
I don't know.
And then I just think you need more help on defense than anything else still.
We need D-line, and we need a linebacker for the love of everything that is holy.
Well, they said they might maybe switch to a 4-3 if they fire Sutton and get a different D coordinator. Switch to a 4-3 because you could do it at this current thing.
I don't
It'd be interesting because you could bring Houston to the D end. You'd have Passanio at the other D end.
Yeah, but then who are our outside linebackers?
Jones, but that's an interesting question. You have Ragland.
Ragland could play outside.
And Ramik Wilson. And then
Ragland would probably stay inside. Ramik and Pierre Lewis would probably go outside.
And you'd probably have to draft a linebacker.
I like the 3-4 because I like Justin Houston come off the edge if we use him.
If we use him that way.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see what they would do.
I don't like the 3-4 when we bring Zombo and drop Houston. I'm like, first of all, get Zombo out of the game. Second of all, rush Houston.
Yeah, just not ideal there. So yeah, that's what happened with the Chiefs. Still waiting on news to see what happens around the league. Other news in the NFL that we'll just touch on briefly. Panthers hired North Turner as offensive coordinator. Other things.
Really good offensive coordinator.
Should be interesting to see what he does with Cam Newton there. The NFL probing if Raiders violated the Rooney Rule and they hired John Gruden and did the token interviews with. But that's no bad. I don't think Reggie McKenzie, the Blackout GM, is going to be racist against other black coaches. I just don't see that. Maybe I'm crazy, but John Gruden was the best candidate, especially for the Raiders.
The Rooney Rule is great in theory, like it really is. But like, if you have your guy and you know who your guy is, why do you have to go out and interview a bunch of people that you know?
Like, if the Raiders can get John Gruden, they're getting John Gruden.
Yeah, it's like if Nick Saban comes open.
If
right
Bill
now,
Belichick's available, someone's hiring Bill Belichick. They shouldn't have to hire. Like, if he wants to come there, like, we're taking him. Like, we don't need to interview anybody else. Like, there's nobody better for the job. Like, I don't understand. Like, some of these things are just pretty obvious. So,
like, if the best person in the field's available, why do I have to go interview a bunch of people that I don't want just to make it look like that's not really helping anybody?
no.
Like, they're not going to get the job.
Just a check mark to
Yeah.
get. So, yeah, and then also
I understand that the points for when you have equally qualified candidates that you look at everybody.
yeah. But you have someone who's
But when John Gruden's there, you're like, okay, don't make me go interview everybody. John Gruden's available. And I'm the Raiders. I really need a big sign.
yeah, Celtic gets in Oakland while you're waiting for the Vegas thing to get done. So, and also Le'Veon Bell said he might sit out or retire if they franchise tag him again, which I think is an absolute lie and just a negotiation tactic. I don't see him sitting out.
You know what? If I didn't make $16 million in my job, I'd retire too. Oh, wait. That's
You are
the most
retired.
spoiled thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
Yeah, and like this is the first year that he hasn't been suspended for.
How much does he make
Anything.
on that franchise tag? I think it would literally be around like $15 million because it'd be a second year.
Well, this year he's getting paid $12.1 million. Next year, it'd be to $14.5.
Pretty close to $50 million.
Yeah, and he turned down a long-term contract that was up to $30 million the first 2 years.
Hey,
Because
Le'Veon
he
Bell.
felt like the team didn't value his full skill set.
Hey, Le'Veon Bell. You're a running back.
He also caught 85-yard passes for 655 yards. But
I mean, I realize he's valuable, but
yeah.
he's replaceable.
Also, the thing I'd look at, if he does this longer, he had 321 carries this year. That's a lot of wear and tear on running back. I mean, we saw what happened to Larry Johnson after back-to-back years of 300, 400 carries. He was absolutely useless afterwards because running backs have a limited number of carries.
Yeah, well, Le'Veon Bell doesn't run like Derek Johnson.
Yeah, that's true, but still, you get that many carries.
Derek Johnson.
No matter what your running style is, you're going to take a lot of beating. So,
I don't know. Le'Veon Bell goes out of bounds a lot. The dude never gets hit hard either. If you watch it,
yeah, he is.
I mean, every once in a while, but most of the time he's slipping out of a tackle and brought down by his legs. Larry Johnson would literally try to run over everybody. He's like, "You're mine. I'm coming for you." And he just poured a different guy.
All right, who's winning this weekend? First game, Atlanta, Philly.
I don't even want to think about football. I'll take. I don't really like either of those teams in that game. I'll take Philly because they're at home.
I love Atlanta in this game.
I don't trust Nick Foles.
That's why I'm taking Atlanta in this game.
I don't trust Matt Ryan.
I trust Matt Ryan, which I'm taking Atlanta in this game.
I trust Matt Ryan more than Nick Foles.
I do like the Philly defense. I think their D-line can give it some hassle.
That's why I don't
O-line.
trust Matt Ryan because when Matt Ryan doesn't have a running game, he's very average. And Philly's D-line is really good.
The Philly's defense has struggled over the last month of the season too.
But
They'll have 34 points to Eli Manning.
that's also hard because they didn't have anything to play for, really.
That's fair.
They were so far ahead that they knew they were going to get the 1 seed.
But also, the Atlanta defense is playing really well right now. Like, they shut down the Ravens' offense.
But I think that the Eagles will be able to run. Their offensive line is really good still. I think they'll be able to run the ball. And Nick Foles, when he has a running game, is very, very capable. He's not great. He's not.
He scored 13 points versus the Raiders.
He's borderline. Yeah, well, I don't know how to explain that. I don't. I just think that
You're trusting the Philly D-line to control the game and win it that way in the running game.
Philly will control the trenches. That's the only reason I think they win. Their offensive line and defensive line are better than Atlanta's defensive line and offensive line.
That's fair. I have a feeling Atlanta wins this game. So Atlanta's a 3-point favorite, which is the first time a 1 seed has ever been the dog in their first playoff game. So
Yeah.
that's what happens when you need to go from Carson Wentz to Nick Foles. Like, quarterbacks matter in that.
I also think Doug Peterson's the better coach, especially offensively.
Offensively, definitely. Dan Quinn, he has coached in 3 of the last 4 Super Bowls or something like that. So there's that as a D coordinator, head coach.
Yeah.
Just saying.
He's a really good D coordinator. I don't think he's a great head coach.
That's fair. So we'll see.
And it's hard to say anything about last year because he had the best offensive coordinator in the league.
That's true. So
And who's his D coordinator? He basically runs his own defense.
Yeah, basically runs the defense.
Especially with Kyle Shanahan there. He didn't have to focus on the offense at all.
And now Sarkisian just not the play caller that he was. The night game for Saturday, Titans at Patriots.
Yeah. If the Titans keep it within 2 scores, I will be very surprised.
Well, the spread is 13.5.
There you go. Bet on New England, people.
Yeah. Titans. This is what makes me so bad about the Chiefs. The Titans aren't good.
No, they are literally one of the worst playoff teams in like the last 10 years.
The Chiefs still couldn't beat them. So yeah, we're taking the Patriots. I don't even want to talk about the Titans. Even with all the Patriots things right now, they still should cruise.
Patriots will have like 9 people in the box, and Mariota will be like, "I can't throw it. I don't know how." And then the one time he makes a good pass, Eric Deck will be like,
"Drop."
Yeah.
Throw to Delaney Walker, and that's about it. And then Belichick's like, "You won't throw to Delaney Walker because he's double covered. So find someone else." Noon game on Sunday, Jacksonville at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh a touchdown favorite.
I'm torn on this game. I really am.
I like Jacksonville's defense, but on the other hand, they have Blake Bortles.
Because I always pick quarterback. Almost always.
It's a pretty big discrepancy in this game.
But this would be my second game just this week of picking not the quarterback. But Jacksonville is so much better everywhere but quarterback and running back.
And receiver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's hard to tell, though, because, like, outside of Antonio Brown,
Smith-Schuster's really good.
how good would those people be if they didn't have
That's fair.
Big Ben?
And how good would Hearns and Robinson be with
If they had not
a quarterback? That's fair.
But anyways, the receivers completely negated because Jacksonville's secondary is ridiculous.
Yes, it is.
Jalen Ramsey is probably the best corner in the league.
Yes, probably. And if Pittsburgh doesn't establish a running game with Le'Veon Bell,
which is hard because Calais Campbell's like, I'm gonna take on 3 of your linemen, so good luck.
He's a man. Like, he's a full guard.
Yeah.
And then Blake Jackson's also there, who's pretty decent.
Yeah, and then their linebackers are like, there's no one here to block me. He's got 3 people on him.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be really hard for Le'Veon Bell's run style because those linebackers are going to be free.
Yeah.
Because you have to at least double team Campbell.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be a really low-scoring game, really close. I'll take Pittsburgh because I think it'll come down to a 2-minute drive. And if Ben has the ball, I'm going to trust him with it. And if Blake, I'm not. So
I'll take Steelers in a close game. I think Jacksonville covers the 7 points, though, in that one. Last game, which I think is for the NFC Championship, the Saints at the Vikings.
Yeah.
Vikings are a 5-point favorite.
I don't disagree. I think the Falcons could beat the Saints just because of how much they play each other. That game
the
could
style.
go either.
That'd be a fun game to watch too.
Yeah, but I think that the Saints will win that game. I really do. Their defense has played better than they played in a while for the year. I know they did not play very good against Carolina. I think that'll motivate them to show people that they are a legitimate defense and they're not just Drew Brees anymore. They definitely need to run the ball better, which is going to be hard because they play the Vikings.
Vikings have number 1 defense in the league this year, and they're really good.
They are really good.
Like
the strength
the
of
best.
the Vikings defense is more. Their line's really good, but their secondary is probably better.
You know how many first downs the Vikings have allowed on third down this year through 16 games?
Probably like 12.
It's 51, which is like 3 a game.
12.
Yeah, it's really good. I just listened to the herd yesterday, and Ray Cosell pulled out that stat. I'm like, yeah, it's really good. Like, they have the best third down defense in the past decade.
I really thought you were going to blow me away. I mean, 51's really good, but I thought it was going to be like 60.
It's like 3 a game. It's not a lot.
No, it's not. I wonder what the record is.
I don't know, but it's really good. Like, their defense is so good. And also, Keenum, he isn't great, but he has 2 good running backs, Murray and McKinnon, who are capable, a decent tight end, and 2 really good receivers, which help him out immensely. Like, there's a lot of talent around him that makes him look better.
Yeah, I think that the Saints D-line's going to be able to get pressure, though. Their D-line's played solid all year. I trust the Vikings. I
think this defense is one of those
I always pick
changers.
Quarterbacks. Always.
That's fair.
Outside of one game.
Well, I'm taking all the quarterbacks except for this game. I'm taking Keenum because I picked the Vikings to go to the Super Bowl like a month ago.
Yeah.
And they're winning the Super Bowl. So, go Keenum.
Oh, they're definitely.
I'm trusting that defense.
They're definitely not winning the Super Bowl.
Yes.
No, there's no way.
If they get to the Super Bowl, they're winning it. So
New England will smoke them.
Not in Minnesota, but that's beside the point.
Yeah, they will.
No.
I do not remotely trust I have Case Keenum versus Bill Belichick.
I have Zimmer versus Tom Brady. I'll take Zimmer.
You said that like it was obvious. Mine was very obvious.
Mine's very obvious.
No.
Yes, Zimmer's been able to shut down likes of Aaron Rodgers. And let alone a 40-year-old Tom Brady.
We've had this discussion before.
Brady's not playing well right now.
Shut down Aaron Rodgers.
Brady's not playing well right now either.
How many times have you said they go into the playoffs and then Brady wins the Super Bowl?
He's going to play the Titans this year. No, I have not said that 6 times.
Okay, I'm not you specifically, but people say that, and he's like, I'm going to go to the Super Bowl. I'm like, sink, and he gets a warm-up game against Tennessee.
That's true. But that means next week he won't be as good. I don't even think they made the Super Bowl. Taking the Steelers.
That is quite possibly one of the most unreasonable things I've ever heard.
We're going to take a quick break, and that's not the most unreasonable thing you've heard from me. Not even close.
Fair.
Not even close.
Pittsburgh is very bad against
Pittsburgh
New England.
versus Minnesota Super Bowl. Let's go.
I would bet $20 against that, at least.
Well, I'm not.
I know you're not going to bet against it.
So I just have a feeling.
Well, you know how that usually goes. It'll be New England and the Saints in the Super Bowl?
I'm picking the Saints. Pretty much I'm picking the NFC team in the Super Bowl.
If it's anybody but New England, I think that's right.
I just don't want to see Brady with another Super Bowl ring on his fingers.
I don't really want to see it, but I don't think Pittsburgh's beating them, and they're the only team that's got a shot. I actually think Jacksonville might be the worst matchup for New England.
But then again, you're taking Blake Bortles over Tom Brady in a playoff game.
Yeah.
We'll take a quick break and come back, talk about the National Championship Game and the college football real quick, and more here on Friday Take. And welcome back into Friday Take. I'm Devin Albertson, joined by Luke Sanders, our first show of 2018. Also, Luke and I are graduating in April, so that's exciting news.
Woo-woo.
No, Luke's going to graduate school, I think, afterwards.
Yep.
So that's what we're doing over the next few months.
They accept me.
There we go. Go for acceptance. So
I hope so.
That's what we have. So we only have a few more months here at Northwest. Going to try to make the most of it here. Last few months.
Well, technically, graduate school is probably going to be here. So I have a while.
For undergrad, at least. 106 days till graduation, by the way, just so you know.
I think somebody might be anticipating their graduation day.
I may or may not have a timer on my computer. So, yeah, that's what's going on.
See, it's just not as big of a deal because I just know that I have to go back. Like, it's like...
You're not done. You're like, well,
it doesn't count.
Step 1's done, I guess, so...
It's basically like, it doesn't even feel like anything different. It's just
like 8th grade promotion?
Yes, that's what it is. And I went to the same high school as I went to 8th grade, and so it's literally the same thing.
Oh, so that'll be fun for you at least.
Except for if I have to make like a collage of pictures with all my classmates, that's not going to be okay because I had to do that in 8th grade and I didn't like it.
That's fair. So, yeah, we're going to talk about the National Championship Game that happened on Monday, Alabama versus Georgia. The first half wasn't a great watch, but I watched the ESPN channel that had Feinbaum with coaches and analysts on there, and they broke down each play. And that made it interesting because when they broke down stuff and like what each team was trying to work with later, it made the game tolerable in the first half, that 13-0 score. Like,
if
it made
I
it interesting.
would have watched Feinbaum do the Alabama game,
He didn't talk a whole lot.
I probably would have broke my television.
No, all he did was set up other guys to talk. Like, that's all he did. He was just like he just set other people up to talk about stuff. He didn't actually give his opinion.
He might be my least favorite sports announcer.
That's fair. I mean,
Or
I don't listen
reporter.
I don't listen to him a whole lot, but
it's annoying.
He didn't talk a whole lot though. He was just more set up all the other guys to talk, and they did really well. So I enjoyed because you had head coaches on there who were breaking down stuff and what each team was trying to go with and stuff. So it was really X and O heavy, and I liked that. It was interesting. Made the chess match a little better to understand what each team was going for. I liked that a lot. So yeah, I didn't actually watch the regular telecast because I just didn't want to deal with that at that point. Trying to just watch a defensive slugfest with regular announcers. But then at halftime, Jalen Hurts was 3 of 8 for 21 yards, with a QBR of 31 in the first half for Alabama. Nick Saban goes with a true freshman, Tua Tagovailoa.
That was one of the gutsiest sports moves I think I've ever seen.
To go to a true freshman.
But also, after seeing it, I just think it was one of the stupidest sports moves to play Jalen Hurts all year.
That's definitely questionable decision-making there early on from Saban.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not obviously Jalen Hurts, what he did, it
25-2 as a starter before that, yeah.
I mean,
but you look at their two losses, why they lose. They couldn't throw the ball.
Yeah. I mean, like, historically bad at throwing the football.
As you've said, and I've said also on Twitter all the time, he's a running back playing quarterback. That's hard to do.
Glorified running back, yes.
It's hard to do that national championship game versus a defense that's just as athletic as you in Georgia.
Yeah.
So I was really impressed with both freshman quarterbacks, though, from playing against that Bama defense. I know you threw that first pick was the right read, underthrew it, but it was also 3rd and long, so it was almost like a punt. So it wasn't that big of a deal. Second pick wasn't good, but he played overall pretty well versus the Alabama defense.
Yeah, I thought he looked good.
For a pocket passer versus Nick Saban, he played pretty well.
Yeah, because that dude's going to get drafted high, too.
Yes. He's got a pretty good arm talent.
Like one.
Like one.
Number one.
Yeah, it depends when he comes out, but yeah, definitely a possibility.
Well, I don't think, if he comes out this year, I don't think he'll go.
Well, from the freshman, so.
Yeah. Is he redshirted? I thought he was redshirted. No, he's a true freshman.
He's a true. Right. They're both true freshmen playing a national championship game.
Yeah, so
against really good defenses.
I think, yeah, he'll come out the year after that. I mean, granted, somebody else could come up that I don't
Tua.
know.
They're both the same class.
Oh man,
it's hard to see. Hard to evaluate. Hard to evaluate. He only played 24 throws. So, but those 24 throws were pretty fun to watch. Like that one scramble he had where he broke away from like 7 Georgia players and scrambled for a first down. That was pretty intense. His first touchdown pass is a nice read. The second one, I think he may have caught a glimpse of Ridley. I'm not sure if that's who he's throwing to, but it worked.
Yeah.
So he had to throw it, and he's like, you know what? I'm just going to try to fit it in here and see what happens, and it worked out. And the last touchdown was a beautiful throw.
Oh, my goodness.
That was so pretty.
First of all,
bad defense.
Georgia, what are you doing?
Full Butch Jones on the defensive end.
Oh, for sure. Except for they had cover 2 man. That was the call, obviously. It's really obvious. The corners just...
Why are you bumping and running on 2nd and 26?
That could be a play call, though.
Yeah.
I mean, a really bad play call, but that could... I mean, like, you can't be sure that that's the corner's fault. But
yeah.
At the same time, you're the corner, and you're like, bump and run, and you're like, Coach, you can't mean that, right? And then you back up 15 yards because it's 2nd and 26.
And then Tua looked out the safety and then dropped into the red basket for a touchdown. And they showed a highlight from back in the 80s, and it was a championship game between Penn State and Georgia. And Todd Blackledge threw pretty much the same pass for a touchdown for Penn State to beat Georgia, like the same, just a go route versus a cover 2, hit him right in the end zone. Pretty much, it looks the exact same except for under center instead of shotgun. It's like, wow. Don't really be in the same highlight package as Todd Blackledge usually, but
there's probably not very many of them.
That's true. And of course, after the game with Tua on his Twitter, giving a shout out to Jalen Hurts and everything he did for him. That was really humbled.
That was one of the most impressive things I think I've ever seen from a college kid in like sports.
As a 19-year-old. Yeah, it's tired of people not appreciating the fact that this man led us to a national championship game. And for all the fans that are against Jalen, you against me too. You're either with us or against us. Love you too. Hashtag big bro, little bro, at Jalen Hurts. So that was really cool what Tua did. And then, of course, Jalen quote tweeted it back and pretty much same thing, kind of going back and forth. And Jalen, I don't think he's a great quarterback, but as a person on the sideline, he was doing when Tua went in the game, and every time he came off the sideline and trying to help out and stuff like that, that's just a great teammate. Like, he's just a great dude.
I tell you what, they're going to have some packages for him, and do not be surprised if that dude's coming back and playing some running back, some receiver, somewhere else on the
field. Dude. I mean, because honestly, he's not going to be a quarterback at the next level. He's not. But he can make the transition to a receiver or a running back, slot guy, someone like that. Like, that's probably his.
Their running backs are so good that if I were Jalen Hurts, I would transfer and play running back somewhere or play quarterback somewhere that is not elite, because Jalen Hurts is going to be a very good college quarterback anywhere he goes.
Probably, yes. Yeah. I mean,
he has a good enough arm that he can make throws, not out of the pocket. But that's where Alabama wants to throw the football from.
And he's also just a supreme athlete. Like he's
like Navy, call up Jalen and be like, hey. Hey, we got you.
Yeah.
Full ride.
Yeah, that'd be-
Government benefits. Bodyguard. We'll get you the works.
And Alabama has some really good freshman receivers, too, on the outside.
Not bad.
So if Tua can use that, they're set up for the next couple of years, which is just great to see, right? Alabama's...
It's not fair. Alabama now has a quarterback. Like, for the first time almost ever.
I mean, the best quarterback before that was A.J. McCarron.
Yeah.
And they won titles with Jake Coker. No, Taylor. Was it? What was it? Was it Taylor?
No, Jake
Coker.
Taylor Coker.
Well, he might as well have been the quarterback for Alabama. He might have won a championship too. I mean, Blake Sims was on the team and they went to the championship game. So,
yeah, I don't know. You gotta slow down the hype for the kid though, because
yeah,
I see him throw 24 times and everyone's like, Colin's like Russell Wilson. I'm like,
slow down.
Colin, everyone calm down. He
Bring it back a little bit.
definitely looks like one of the most talented quarterbacks I've seen in a while, but his 24 plays against a defense that had never scouted him.
Yeah.
And that was keen on quarterback run.
Mm-hmm.
Still, they had to flip from that. I don't know if they ever did really flip from that.
Yeah.
Because it seemed like their defense was still spy, and it's harder to cover if you're spied.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
And you do hear reports that out of practice he's lighting up the Alabama defense too, so that kind of gets everybody giddy. So, just seeing the potential that's there, and of course he was in that Elite 11 program that's across the nation. He was the number one rated quarterback in that program. So, and he's from the same high school as Marcus Mariota. So
he's left-handed, and it throws me off too.
Yeah.
He
It's
would be
weird,
the only
but it
starting
works.
quarterback that's left-handed if he was in the league right now.
Interesting.
I think. That's just off the top of my head, but I can't think of any.
I can't think of anybody who throws left hand that I can think of since like Vic and Tebow.
Yeah.
And he's more accurate. So right now it's hard to tell right now, but I think he's going to
more
be
accurate than Tebow.
Well, yeah.
We can confirm that.
Good for breaking news. So yeah,
His throw emotions.
that was a fun game in overtime. Also, Alabama's kickers are awful.
Oh my god.
They should never play for a field goal ever again.
Well, it's just like it's the same thing I've said with quarterback. You're the best team in the nation. How can you not get a good kicker? Doesn't make any sense.
That game-winning kick that he shanked.
The first kick of the game.
I think I missed that. I'm talking about.
I know, but the first kick of the game, he missed by 15 yards to the left.
Well, that last one wasn't much better.
I know, but oh my god.
They should have stayed on the right hash. You've been closer. You'd be within 10 feet of the goalpost.
He's historically bad at kicking the football, apparently.
Georgia's kicker was good, though.
Yeah, he is.
He was really good.
I mean, the Rose Bowl, he pretty much won them the game.
Yeah. I was really, like, Bama was playing for the field goal there at the end of regulation.
I mean, the way...
Which is a smart way to play it if you have a competent kicker, but you're Alabama.
But also, you know that you have your defense.
Trust in overtime.
Yeah.
I think it was a fun game, though. I mean, it was pretty highly rated, too, between Bama and Georgia. Sure was a fun atmosphere down there in Atlanta. President was there. All the good stuff. So, yeah, it was a fun game. I think it was better than some people were hoping or expecting for an SEC championship game. So, all SEC. But all in all, I think it was a pretty good year in college football. I know there's some people who want UCF to be the national champion, but Bama is. So, what's your thought on that, on UCF?
I don't know. I do not think the UCF would have won the playoff if they would have been in it. But it's hard for you to argue against it now because Auburn did beat both the teams that were in the national championship.
Yes, it did.
And UCF beat them.
They ranked UCF 6th in the last 8 people.
That's just stupid.
It went Bama, Georgia, Oklahoma, Clemson, Ohio State, UCF.
Oh, my gosh. Get Ohio State out of there. Get Clemson out of there.
You gone. So, yeah.
I did watch UCF play, and I thought that Auburn would just murder them at the line of scrimmage in the second.
How motivated was Auburn to play in that game? That's one thing I always look with some of those games when it's...
It looked like they were playing hard.
Like UCF, that's their Super Bowl. Like, that's their Super Bowl. And Auburn had already played Georgia twice, Bama, and Clemson. That's like their 5th biggest game of the year.
To me, Auburn did look like they came out playing.
Yeah.
And UCF just beat them at the point. Like
UCF is athletic.
In
like,
the
I was surprised by that.
UCF won, and I was not ready for that at all.
So I was pleasantly surprised. I liked them.
If Scott Frost,
you're just getting excited now as a Nebraska fan, though.
Nebraska had a tackle like UCF did. Woo, because they were hitting people and like
even with a guy who just won really arm. Like
Yeah.
that was a great story with him, Griffith.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
now there's some quarterback falling for us from UCF. I'm like,
You getting excited over there up in Lincoln?
I mean, like, excited for like a 9-win season. I'm not like gonna come
Well,
out
that's
here
fine.
and say Nebraska's gonna be like undefeated, which I have seen on Twitter. Y'all need to calm your roll.
Slow your roll.
It's just like, no.
Let's start with beating Iowa the last game of the year. And
Yeah,
not getting blown out by Iowa.
we just
Hashtag Ohio State.
you're in Lincoln, Nebraska. Like, calm your expectations. People don't want to go there.
Like I was listening to the Herd yesterday, and they were talking with Bryce Butler, and he took a recruiting. He was from Georgia, took a recruiting visit to USC, and the next week went to Notre Dame. And he's like, nah. It's like I was going through cornfields. He's like, nah. He's like, I just went from palm trees to cornfields. Like, where do you think I'm gonna go?
Yes. No, not Nebraska, not cornfields.
Yeah. So he definitely went to USC and not Notre Dame, because well, duh. At some point, lifestyle matters a little bit. So.
And then from Notre Dame to Nebraska, there's like 6 times the cornfields.
They're
Then
literally
you
the
go to Iowa,
Cornhuskers.
there's 10 times the cornfields. It's, oh my goodness.
Yeah, that'll happen. Do they already have the too early rankings for next year? Probably. I don't want to look at them, though. I'm sure it's just Bama and everybody else. Because, Bama, they're always loaded. So, anything else you have to say? Anything else in sports?
No. Hopefully the Royals get Hosmer. It's about the only thing that's relevant.
7 years, 147. You okay with that?
Yeah. You got to pay to keep people.
And you know what? $21 million per year for Hosmer for 7 years. You would not have thought that beginning of the year. That's
No.
a bargain.
It really. I mean, he might be the best all-around first baseman in baseball.
It's a bargain for him at this point. And it's like, you know what? Gordon comes off the books here next year. They already traded Soria as $9 million away.
Dayton Moore getting rid of Soria, that's a miracle. I do not know how that.
Instead of someone else take their entire salary.
Yeah. Now, if you can get rid of Kennedy, I'll be even more impressed. Because that contract is
not great.
Wow.
Not great. So yeah, I don't know how good the Royals will be this year, but if you keep Hosmer, Salvy, Duffy, all those guys, at least you'll be interesting.
If we keep Hosmer, there's a chance we get Moose back too. So
yeah, so you'll be interesting. You'll be contending for the playoffs, even if you're not rebuilding. But
yeah, because they talked about if we didn't get Hosmer, trading everybody.
Yes,
And
Duffy, Witt, everybody except for Salvy, pretty much.
No, they talked about trading Salvy too.
Oof, I would not do that.
No, he's literally on.
Kansas City might burn to the ground if they trade Salvy.
The thing is, for Salvy, you could get a haul because his contract
Is that worth
so
coffin
small.
burning to the ground?
Maybe. Depends on what the haul is.
It's like there's like just two guys in Kansas City that are just below, like him and Barry.
Yeah.
Or just two guys that like they're just the lifeblood of those teams. Like you just can't do it. I don't know. So yeah, that's what they have.
But baseball's irrelevant at this point, so.
I mean, spring training starts in like 30 days, and the hot stove is still cold. Like Boris still has like 40 free agents still not signed.
Yeah.
That's not great for Boris and his wallet because he needs guys to get signed.
It's true.
So yeah, we'll see what happens there. And really, no one has really come up in the market for any of the guys. Like the Hosmer market was really cold for some reason. Like San Diego's the biggest contender because everybody else went cheaper. So I don't know. It just really.
Well, that's because the
Really weird.
Yankees lineup is like, they're like, we'll take all the home run hitters. We will take them.
What if Moose signed a 1-year deal with the Yankees just to
Let's
try
not
to
talk about that.
just if
No.
you weren't a Royals fan, just so he could play in that.
It has nothing to do with being a
Just
Royals
so, I
fan.
know I hate
I
the
just don't
Yankees
want
too.
another lefty bat in the Yankees lineup.
Play in the short porch with that lineup.
Moose would hit 40 home runs there.
Minimum. How many hit this year in Kansas City? 37, 38?
Yeah, but that was his career high. So
yes, but
assuming-
playing in Kaufman for
assuming
81
he has
games.
A decent average year, he'd hit 40.
Yeah, that's
If
what
he
I'm
played
saying.
like he did this year, he'd hit 50, 55.
Okay, I'm just saying, like, yeah, he could hit a lot of home runs, especially with the protection he had in that lineup.
Yes.
Stanton, Judge,
They're
Sanchez.
like surrounded by Stan Judge and Sanchez. We're like, we will pitch the Moose. We will take our chances.
Just home run after home run after home run.
You might just pitch to Stan because he's the only right-handed one. You're like,
Well, Stanton will just hit it right field anyway. Like he didn't care.
No,
Like
he
the
won't.
pop up.
He'll hit it to left field. And
He can
he'll
hit a
go
pop up
500
fly to
feet.
right field, but still a home run. Like you don't care.
It's not even gonna be fun to watch, honestly.
So yeah, that's what's going on there in New York. They're just loading up on power hitters. So that sucks. All right, Luke, I'm gonna have you talk for a couple minutes here while I switch this back over. So just talk about what's going on tomorrow with the game with Northwest versus Southwest Baptist.
All right. Northwest plays Southwest Baptist. Girls are important. It's an important game. Everybody should come out and show up and represent because if they win that game, they just need a couple more conference wins and they'll be in the conference tournament. The guys trying to get back on the right track. I know they beat Pitt State after they lost to Southern, but they didn't play last night. Never mind. They should be able to get back on the right track though, and just show up and represent. Bearcats love playing at home. We always do a good job of showing up for the guys' game, try to get a few more people to the girls' game. They got some talent. They're really young. A lot of support would come out and help them.